you that your anti-Semitism outweighs your ability to read a study and to believe a study and to think that the studies that Norm has are just not true. Now, I think some of the studies Norm has isn't true. But all I'm trying to say is you're espousing the same thing I said earlier about all the theories we know. The only theories that are factual is math. Because no matter how we add shit up, you get the same answer, right? You could do PEMDAS, you can do whatever you want. You're going to come up with the same answer if you're properly computing the equation. Now, to get to my point, I just want to say none of this should be approached with vitriol. We should approach this conversation with trying to compare logic and theories and ideas about a lot of this stuff, because I think migration, admixture, all of that stuff kind of dilutes ancient populations. I mean, it's not what I think, it's what I know. So I think all of us are a little diluted. We are creating new genotypes and phenotypes every day by creating admixture people. People that are not homogenous. People that share different DNA and different cultures. And that's kind of all I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah, it was my turn after that.
No, it's my go, bro.
You straight? You ready to go, brother?
You know what? You want to go before me?
Nah, you can go.
Alright, so I try to take notes because I learned this from Norm on what Lion was saying. So this is what I want to address. When David founded his empire. Alright, so when David founded his empire, his two powerful neighbors, such as Egypt and Assyria, were both in a state of decline. Assyria had fallen into the hands of warlike kings, and Egypt was divided amongst rival dynasties, we'll call it. Now, within Egypt, we have two specific hieroglyphs that speak of the Israelites. They speak of their cities. They also speak of them laying waste to them and saying their seed is no more. So we also have Rome speaking of these Jewish people. Now that we established the historical facts for Israel, we'll speak for this. He also mentioned there was no letter J in the Hebrew language. Now, when I read the Hebrew, I find the letter J. To be more accurate, it's only currently used as a silent letter. I can't remember whether it's a gimel, but if you use your computer, it'll display the dalet, and I think it's formerly the gimel though. But if you put a dot, meaning that little dot inside the gimel, it becomes a J. If it didn't, you wouldn't have places such as the Gaza Strip, which in Hebrew would have been read as the Gaza Strip, and that would just be plain to stupidity. Now, the Chaldeic Targum, written already in perverted Hebrew, was lost during the captivity of Babylon. Not only does the Bible affirm this in Nehemiah and Chronicles, the Talmud also affirms it. And we also have people like Moses Maimonides, aka the Rambam, telling us that the Hebrew language was no longer spoken in the ordinary vernacular, and that there are rare words that are no longer pronounced, and we no longer know the meaning. And to get mad at the Jews for reestablishing what you would call a dead language is like getting mad at the Egyptians for not wanting to speak Arabic, which is not their native tongue, and saying we want to speak Coptic outside of our church. But as of today, they're not allowed to speak Coptic. They're only allowed to speak Arabic. So what I'm saying is, you cannot get mad at the Jews for speaking their language and knowing their history when the people point their fingers have none.
Next.
Shit that I've ever heard in my life.
Next.
Yeah. I think what's
He just
important.
confirmed that they just made up the language.
Yeah, we've had these conversations with Dr. Copeland on this app. Someone who studied the field, someone who has access to the real research, the real data, and he too has proven Norm and his understanding of self to be incorrect or out of line or misaligned with science. And the reality of the situation is, though the Ashkenazis do have the area known as the Levant, they are less tied to that land group by way of DNA than any other group that is currently in that.
Exactly.
Including the Palestinians, particularly the Palestinians, which the groups the highest level of indigeneity in this area, along with the Mizrahi Jews, also, to which they are almost identical in terms of DNA and genetics. And so, when you have the Nazi Jews that are dictating policy to remove Palestinians, Muslims from that area,
And we took you too.
for over a century, what you actually have is a crime against humanity, the displacement of indigenous peoples, the definition of crimes against humanity. It needs to.
You're in the Matrix.
Yeah, man, I think he's in the Matrix. Next in the queue.
He wasn't done.
Add me in the queue too. Add me to the queue too.
You just spoke.
So who gives a fuck?
I think is MJ finished though? You good, man? You trying to?
Let him
I'm after MJ.
Bro, I can't.
No, you're not after MJ.
Don't talk to me, Jizzy.
I'm after Alejandro.
I'm after fucking MJ.
Alessandro's after MJ.
I'm after Alessandro then. Shut the fuck up, Jazzy.
Jacobus is after
I'm after fucking
Alessandro.
Jacoby then. Shut the fuck up, Jazzy.
Okay, you're after
Hey,
Jacobus.
you got to be.
I think MJ is cool. I think like the thing about it though, MJ is like I see what you're saying about like indigeneity and presence in a particular land. I also think that's not really the question at hand, right? Because when Lion says exactly, you and Lion are saying two different things. Lion is saying they have zero Jewish ancestry, Ashkenazis, right? That's what Lion is saying. But MJ, what you're saying is they do have Jewish ancestry, just less than some other groups. You see what I'm saying? So like, you're not disagreeing. So I don't even, in this context, I guess I'm just saying like in this context, the anti-Semitic argument that's being made is these Jews don't actually have Jewish ancestry, but they do. Ashkenazi Jews have maintained their Jewish identity for centuries, right? And they have always been treated as other and persecuted because they have consistently maintained their cultural identity based on their roots in the Levant, right? And based on their roots in Israel. So as they left Israel, they've consistently made, and this is why I think that epistemological concerns are actually quite interesting. I think that if we look at, okay, so what is the evidence that these people are Jewish? Well, for over 1,000 years, they've been saying they're Jewish. For hundreds of years, they've been saying they're Jewish. They've lived in Europe in separate communities, ostracized for being Jewish. Okay, well that's one valuable piece of evidence to show us that they really do come from over there. What's the other piece of evidence? They are genetically tied to the region, as you acknowledge, MJ. So the question is not how Jewish are they? The question is, do they have ancestry from the Levant? The answer is yes. Do they have ancestry that takes them back to present day Israel? The answer is also yes. No one here is using that to justify Zionism or anything like that. We're just fighting back against the anti-Semitic argument that Norm is not a real Jewish person or something. That's what's being stated. That's the point of contention. And so I think the preponderance of evidence The fact that Norm's family, for centuries and thousands of years, have been telling the world they're Jewish, and that their DNA traces back to Israel and the Levant. Yeah, Norm's Jewish. That's the debate, right? It's the same thing with African Americans. Like we're arguing with people that think African Americans are indigenous to the Americas. This is who you're arguing with, people who think that's possible, right? But for hundreds of years, Black people in America have been saying we're African and we come from Africa. When you check our DNA, we are genetically tied to Nigerians and people from Ghana and all of that. So duh, it's Occam's razor. It's the preponderance of evidence, right? Everything is not fucking rocket science. It's really not that deep. Norm's Jewish. What's the debate?
You are retarded.
Alright, it's my goal line. Hold on. So my argument is very simple. These people are saying the Jews have no connection to the Levant. My own DNA, somebody who is the least of the Jews, has connections to the Levant when you see my DNA. And you already see I'm Black, and I don't get that from my African American side. That's number one. Number two, the African Americans on stage are crying about a group of people lobbying for their rights, which is very hypocritical. We have them doing this for years. People like W.E.B. Du Bois going to France, Brussels, and Belgium just to internationally, fight for their rights. Now we got the Irish people doing the same, doing it in Ireland, doing it in the United States, doing it internationally. And now you get mad at the Jews for doing the same or even better. In fact, what bothers me is that what makes a people free is when they possess democratic and liberal institutions that are indispensable to their own self-development. And when you don't recognize that, you recognize that some people are less mature than others, if we could be frank. Now, here's my final point. And I end it here. Watch this. Now, when we speak of the Jew, and we speak of the issues that Ryan is bringing up, we got gay people doing the same thing. We got them saying, give us rights, give us this, let us fight for our place in government. But then you get mad at the Jews for doing something I would call genetic algorithms. Yeah, watch this. So when you want to simplify problems and find a solution, you would use something called generic algorithm, where you will have biological or even what you would call this computer rooms, right? And you will place them in like competitions, and you will give them limited access to mobility, only certain functions they could do through permutations and combinations, right? And eventually, the one that could actually solve the problem with those limited access becomes the best. And then you do that again and again and again. And you would literally call these solutions children and offspring. Now, when you look at the Jews doing this from 2,000, 3,000 years ago, they're solving problems over generations and generations and generations with limited access. And then eventually, you see them with the answer. And now you're mad. I just call that envy, yo.
All right.
You found your word, brother? You found that word you were looking for? We get it.
No, I didn't. Standard deviation? No, it's
No, brother, no.
Fuck, hey. You're supposed to help me, bro. You're supposed to help me. I thought you got a degree in finance.
It's interdisciplinary.
Huh?
This is 20 years since I've been in stats class, brother. Let's move on.
Bro, I thought you was in finance, bro.
I am in finance. I don't know.
Think probability distribution. Think quartiles. Think plus or minus 10%. Plus minus 10%.
You talking about something related to confidence? Confidence, something?
Yeah, that's why I said confidence intervals. But there's
confidence.
Plus or minus 10%. Probability distribution. Fuck, standard deviation. Fucking A. Anyway, let me get to my motherfucking point, man. I'll research it later.
Derivatives.
No, not derivatives. Derivatives are something that gets its value from an underlying asset. So a futures contract is a derivative that gets its value from the stocks. No, man. Let me just fucking finish my point. This is to Lion. Lion, I want you to look at young Alessandro as an ignorant child from your loins. From your loins.
No. My children could never be that.
No. I want you to say that this was one that got away. And now he's prodigal, right? He's the prodigal son. And he's returned from doing that which the swine does do. And you have to teach him and learn him the ways. And so I want you to apply the patience that you would.
It's too far gone.
No. See, the thing is, what I'm learning, Lion, is that we have to break this bitch down because he conveniently hides behind terms, and and the terms do all the legwork. For instance, the Levant, okay, anti-Semitism, right? That has two things around it that he doesn't have to apply any critical reasoning. He doesn't have to do any further legwork. He could just say the Levant, hundreds of years, which I don't know if he even realized in the grand scheme of things, 100 or 200 years is nothing, right? Because actually what we're talking about is thousands of years, right?
Right.
So what you've done is talk about what was established over the course of hundreds of years. Now I know what you're going to do. You're going to say, well, you know what I mean. I don't really mean just 100 or 200 years, even though I said it repeatedly. I actually mean thousands of years, right? That's how he'll fix it. But again, requires no research, no intellectual curiosity, no due diligence. What we would call Alessandro is a lazy thinker, if at that, right? He is just a bandwagoner. He's not even thinking. He is just saying, hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! And you haters, boo, boo. He's rooting for the home team. It's not even his own fucking team. He's rooting, what the fuck is going on? Right? He has no substantive critiques because he has no substantive information. So what we can do is we'll do the work for him, Lion. Where's the Levant, Alessandro? What current day countries does it encompass, Alessandro? How many other beliefs were in the area, Alessandro? When did Judaism emerge, Alessandro? What was the predecessor to Judaism, Alessandro? Guess what? He don't know. He has no fucking idea.
But I do.
Well, guess what, brother? We're gonna have to spoon feed it to this ignorant ass nigga. And it's okay, because he's a homie, and iron sharpens iron, and we gotta put things on a timeline. We gotta put things on a timeline because I think we're speaking too abstractly, and it's hard to follow the narrative because the narrative twists and turns like a goddamn snake, right? And I brought that back to the Garden of Eden. So it's on you, Lion, because you have done the work, as you have said, and I believe you. So you're gonna have to help this gentleman out, understand the evolution of the region and the people that call themselves Jews. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Heavy to the queue.
That nigga can talk.
I guess
You see, you see how you go to crowd victim
You
thing?
welcome, Cogito. Copito said, "Thank you, Concrete."
Mm.
Do you want to go first, Jacobus, or?
Nah, let's say I'm next. You go.
Oh shit, man. I mean, I feel like the history of the region is fascinating. You know what I'm saying? I think that being familiar with that is quite important. And I think that the point of contention, though, and I honestly believe the point of contention is whether or not certain people have roots in the Levant, right? So if we were to do as you suggest and like pour through that history, right? And then prove that Norm isn't a Jew through doing that, I mean, that seems like a much more cumbersome process, right? To figure out whether or not Norm is a Jew, right? That's the point of contention. So I think like doesn't it make more sense to like look at the anthropological history of Norm's people, look at the history of their travels throughout the world, and look at their DNA, and find if certain if the way their DNA is compiled is congruent with certain patterns found in the Levant, right? Like I think that like analyzing the history of because the thing that's y'all are basically saying European Jews ain't Jews, right? That's what's being said. So I think it's more important to analyze the history of European Jews. And then if in the process of that analysis we find that they don't come from the Levant, then that would be, the more decisive victory for you. You see what I'm saying? I can understand what you're saying, Concrete, but I just think it's plain and clear that after an analysis of Ashkenazi DNA, as MJ said, and MJ affirmed this point, Ashkenazi Jews do have roots in the Levant genetically. That's what MJ said, right? So, and I knew that was true because I've done this research since before ChatGPT existed. I looked into it, right? So I'm just telling you, the history of these people that you're saying are not Jews shows that they are. Like the history of their people shows that they're Jews. Now the history of Judaism as a whole and the history of the Levant, like that's interesting.
Did you hear my question? You know why I asked those questions?
Yes.
All right. Tell me how many different groups evolved from the Levant. And how did you isolate the genetics to that particular group from the various groups?
You can't do that.
In this case, I'm not.
Wait. What did you say, MJ?
You can't do that. Like, there's no way to sit here and say,
okay.
Any group of people that had origins in the Levant, let's say the Canaanites, tribe of Judah, Israel, Judah, these different kingdoms, you can't do it. It's just, there's nothing there to make those precise levels of markers. All you can really do from a genetic standpoint is say, look, these people, more than likely, what we know about genetics today, have ancestry in the
I put it in the chat.
And 11's a pretty big region.
I put it in the chat, and here's the problem that I think a lot of people are missing. When you all talk about this area, you talk as if these people never left and nobody ever came in and conquered, then reconquered, and then were conquered by other groups of people. This land that we're talking about has been in conflict for over 3,000 years straight. The Romans were occupying Jerusalem and the Levant. All of the Judea was under Roman territory, which meant that Romans were living in the land. They were living in Israel, a whole other race of people from literally all over the world, because the Romans were very much like the American Empire, which is filled up with all sorts of people, from Pakistanis all the way to French to Canadians that are all enlisted in the American military. They can be living anywhere. You're not going to show a genetic connection in any way whatsoever. I put that in the chat. I already answered all that.
It's my goal.
I'm not, no, it ain't your goal, nigga.
It was my goal, nigga. What the fuck you doing? Hurry up.
I'm not talking. Listen, the very president that
Jacobus called after. He called after MJ.
Yeah, these niggas don't care.
Yeah, that
They
nigga said
don't
he was after
care.
MJ.
History didn't go back to Belarus and Russia. Exactly
Oh
where
my
it,
God, hurry up.
exactly where it states that these niggas are from.
Hurry up.
They are not.
Oh, they say
from
that
the
puppy
Levant.
mouse.
They are not from the Levant. They're just white converts. That's all they
All
are.
right, is he done?
Yo, MJ, I missed your submission, brother. You're gonna have to repeat it before I get a chance. Sorry. When I get a chance, I'm just saying.
It's all good. It's all good.
Nah, you know you're my homie, Jacoby. You know I love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.
So these niggas gotta put some respect on their name.
So look, I'm glad you're here, Knowledge. If you look at my PTR, right, can you read the genetic markers that's in my PTR?
Ashkenazi, the fuck, Sephardic Jews. I don't know what the fuck that is.
Sephardim.
Eastern Sephardim Jews in Eastern Mediterranean and Sephardim
means
Jews
Spanish.
in Northern America.
It means Jews.
So brother Knowledge, would you consider the a Jew with a genetic marker in the Mediterranean, the Levantine area too?
Roman Empire.
No, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
So Mediterranean and Levantine is sort of synonymous in that sense. So yeah. So now what I'm saying is we have Jews with genetic markers that lead to North Africa, the Mediterranean, and some all the way up north, as you can see with the Ashkenazi blood, is me. So now another thing I want to add is I brought up two historical facts about Egypt. One, that we have the Masfet document that speaks of them trying to wipe out the seed of Israel, and this is way before the what would you call this? The Roman occupation of Judea. And then you also have hieroglyphics that talks about Israelite cities next to the Canaanites. Now, here's my other contribution to my historical fact. The first will start like this: Israelites and Canaanites are the same ethnic stock. Hebrew and Canaanite language are identical. The genetics are identical. Israel didn't destroy Canaan. The archaeology doesn't show this, as well as the biblical evidence, as I will show after the historical evidence. It shows that Israel and Judah evolved from Canaanite culture. On the whole, therefore, we lean that the belief that the so-called Hyksos or the Shepherd Kings were Hittites. Roman histories of the ancient Egypt. Canaan was the grandson of Ham and the father of Sela, his firstborn, and of the Hittites, the Arvadites, the Jebusites, and many other Canaanite tribes. Sidon is the Greek name meaning fishery for the ancient Phoenicians ports, the city of Sidonia. The Phoenicians were seafarers, meaning they got on boats and they traveled on the waters. And they were traders of the ancient past, and they referred to themselves as Canaanites, but the Greeks and the Romans called them Phoenicians. And their own epitomes of Egypt by what was his name? Manetho, the late antiques historian Sextus Julius Africanus, and even Eusebius say that the Hyksos came from Phoenicia. In Josephus' epitome of Manetho, he referred to the shepherd king Hyksos as Jews. Hyke, explained, meant king, and in the holy language, Sos is the dialect of the people signifying shepherd. Until the excavation and discovery of Teledava, the site of the Hyksos capital of Varus, in 1966, historians relied on these accounts for the Hyksos period. When the Hyksos ruled the northern part of ancient Egypt in the second intermediate period of Egypt, they brought with them horses and chariots. The Hyksos shepherd kings ruled about 100 years. They formed the kings of the 15th dynasty, the ancient Egypt, and had the capital of Varus in the eastern delta. The Hyksos were defeated by the Debi kings, Matt would have said the Debi, who obviously ruled the country from Debis. They were the contemporaries of the Hyksos. So now, let's go down right here. In the Bible, it states Judah took possession of the land, but they were unable to drive the Canaanites from their plains because they had chariots fitted with iron. Like Judah, the Benjamites did not drive out the Jebusites, who were living in Jerusalem until the Babylon captivity. And it is written, give this message to Jerusalem, the sovereign Lord. You are nothing but a Canaanite. Your father was an Amorite and your mother a Hittite. So according to archaeological evidence and biblical evidence, the Jews are nothing more than a tribe of Canaanites. And Canaanites have been known to be native to the land of the Mediterranean. The Bible affirms it, and historical evidence agrees with it.
The only thing he's wrong about is going to be that the Jews wiped out the Canaanites, but I believe it is the
He
case.
never said that.
Oh, my bad. Okay, I thought you said that
Yo,
they
why you
destroyed.
putting words in his mouth? Yo, come
They told them to wipe out the Canaanites, but they didn't do it. And the Bible says that they live with
I
them.
believe they defeated the Miami Gardenites.
Right, but I mean,
in Miami.
but I think that you have offered like the precise, because if people are asking, okay, where is the origin of the Jewish people? That's in accordance with my understanding that like they emerged as a subcategory of a subculture of Canaanites.
The Polanites. I'd like to. So when we were talking about the different groups and the predecessors to the Jews, or predecessor to Judaism, and different groups that were in the region known as the Levant. The reason why it's a problem, the various groups, for the claim that Norm is making, and some might even say for the claim Line is making, is because it's hard to pinpoint, if not impossible to pinpoint, which is why you have to rely upon other information, which would then like help to corroborate or flesh out certain beliefs, right? And so, unfortunately, in that regard, I think Line has the more persuasive argument.
Yeah, can I go into that a little bit, what you just stated?
I wanted to ask you a question before you go. When you mentioned Henry Ford, what was he relying upon? Because I imagine he was closer to the information that he could have. I don't know. I'm just curious about that. Go ahead.
All right, and he was actually reading from a book. It was it's called, I think it's called like 940, right? And he's referencing, it was actually written by Muslims.
I'm at the line.
Talking about, shut the fuck up. He was actually going into the fact that these people have absolutely no genetic connection.
I'm not the term.
In any way whatsoever.
No, that was me, Jacobus.
Yeah, I know. I'm not the term.
So I wanted to, Concrete, I want you to look at something. I want you to look at my PTR. Tell me, what do you see? I would say it's a map. Right? Can you see it? Yes?
Yeah, it looks like the Mediterranean.
That is the Mediterranean. Can you see it?
Yeah, I saw it and I took a screenshot. Go ahead.
All right, good. This is the Mediterranean map of all of the Roman Empire.
Circa what time?
This is during the height of its rulership. Roman Empire consisted of the Levant, Spain, North Europe, all of this area. So when these bastards say, oh, we've got Mediterranean DNA, of course you do, because the Romans were forcefully converting and forcing people to mix together, just like America, just like the melting pot of America right now. They're trying to force people to mix together and create all of these half-castes, a bunch of mixed up cultureless people, and trying to make them all Romans. So when you're reading in the Bible where even Paul himself says that I am also a Roman by citizenship, but he was actually an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. He's saying that his blood family tie, his tribal lineage, where he literally comes from by blood, he is an Israelite, but citizen of the Roman Empire, which is why he spoke Greek. The same thing with us in America, the exact same thing, because America is built off of the Roman setup. So when these dumbass niggas come off the mic and say, oh, well, my DNA says that it ties back to the Mediterranean. What part of the Mediterranean? Look at my map.
Right down by the beach, man.
Yeah, well, hey, listen. What part of this area, what part of the Roman Empire did you come out of? Everyone was out of the Roman Empire at the time. You're not making a win here, you moron. You're just playing on the ignorance of the people in the room. Because they think that Mediterranean people have dark hair, kind of like a darkish brownish color skin, and they all look like they drink olive oil and rub it all over their bodies. You think that means that's Mediterranean people. But in fact, guess what? Mediterranean people can be extremely black, Negroid, dumbass motherfucker. You're playing on the ignorance of the people. Ashkenazim, which I'd already stated, their gene comes from Italy. And their ancestor, his name was Onkelos, who migrated he went further north into the Rhinelands. And then forcefully converted a bunch of women to become Jews like him. He has no genetic connection. Ashkenazi Jews are just simply white people who converted to Judaism.
Yo, I'm at the line.
At the end of the Roman Empire. And they fled the area and went north into Europe. That's all they did. They have no Jew in
Man
their
said, I'm
middle.
gonna skip Jacoby's. I'm gonna.
Come on, bro. What the fuck, bro? Come on, man.
That is.
And you hate when niggas overtalk you and lying and overtalk you. What's going on?
It's just the disrespect. This hurts. This hurts. They got friends. They're connected. They married to these people. And this shit is painful to hear. Your entire life is being flipped upside down right now based off of everything you were taught. And
Not really, actually. We don't really care.
And now what you're dealing with is a bunch of stuff that's just completely destroying your way of thinking, your reality. All of this information is basic public information. And a lot of this shit is written by actual Jewish scholars.
We don't care about the past. We don't give a fuck.
Hey, shut the fuck up, faggot.
Shut the fuck up, you fucking whore. You're a whore.
Your mother died.
Come on, lion.
I just want to say,
Fuck this pussy ass nigga.
Yo, why you getting emotional, bro? Like, leave the nigga alone. Let him finish his
I'm not getting
Not you.
Nah, that nigga was emotional.
You getting emotional, nigga.
Fuck up, faggot nigga.
That nigga was crying.
Yeah, your mother was crying when I.
Your sister was crying, little nigga.
Alright, so
Fuck
my
is you
point
talking
still
about?
stands.
I'll fuck your daughter, nigga.
Yeah, my point still
Is she
stands.
over 18?
Shut your bitch ass up, bro.
Ain't no rules about kids. Rules about our kids.
Get him out. So the information still stands. They can't push against this. Everything that they're going to say is not going to. There's no substantiation. There is just nothing but simply claim after claim after claim. What Jacobus is saying is all Jacobus is telling you is that his mama is a white woman. That's it. That's all he's doing. He and his family comes from a race of converts. That does not mean that he is actually a Jew from antiquity. The Jews from antiquity were written of as Ethiopian-looking people. That's what was written in the 1st century. These motherfuckers are lying. What they did over time was they changed what it meant to be.
This nigga think the Jews look like Wesley Snipes. This nigga blowing the fuck out.
Yeah, they did. They really did. They sure did. It's written in the Torah as well. But you wouldn't accept that because it doesn't fit your white supremacist mindset that you've been putting in your brain. It's just been said all over the book. They have never been white. That was a conversion. These people they converted themselves because they wanted to be considered the people of God, because before that they were nothing. And they are still nothing. All they did was convince the world that they are somehow somebody special. And they are not. They're nothing. They were never in the Levant. There are no white people prior to the Romans in the Levant claiming to be Jews. You won't find a single piece of memorabilia of antiquity. Antiquity. Not the Romans. We're not talking about the Romans or the Greeks. You won't find nothing that's got white people at all. Every single place, all over the Assyrian conquested areas, they always show them depicting themselves as defeating some nappy-head Negroes. And if you want, I can show you the Assyrian list to prove it.
Now, I would just say this. We can look at the DNA.
He didn't have like a reproductive. He didn't have an umbilical cord, right? So he was created as a full man, right? He wasn't created as a child. He was created as a man, right? That's what you're gonna say? I think that's what Saul's saying. So every animal was created in full form, right? Not in pairs, in its full form. A horse was made as a horse. A full French horse, not a foal, right? What was it? Right? I think that's what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, if God created, like the animals in both genders, this is what I'm saying. Because right now we see that he created Adam, having like be a gender, like bigender, like something like this, having both, right? And later on he separated them. But with the animals, did he created them with, like, let's say one, like both, like in one, okay, both genders, or separately, like a tiger, like female tiger and male tiger. Got it?
Yeah, I understand.
This is getting R-rated again.
The coolest thing about the name Adam is that it's an Aleph and then Dam. So he's made up of spirit and blood. I don't know if Rabbi Caleb would agree with that, but...
No. We're talking about...
That's not... Joanna, with all love, I need you to just start to differentiate between what's woo-woo and what's, like, good scholarship.
Then I need a different rabbi.
I need you to start differentiating that, because that is just not indicated in the actual language of that word. It's a lovely spiritual teaching, but it has no connection to the actual word itself.
Then I have to forget about Rabbi Mordecai Kraft and Michael Skoback. I need a different... You hear about Rabbi Abe?
Get a real rabbi.
Know him?
Get a real rabbi, a real person in real life that you can really go and have a relationship with, and that's with your internet rabbis.
Well, wait a second. What about Rabbi Singer?
I'm not too fond of him. I
like Rabbi Singer.
You're not supposed to say where you live here, but I'm going by me. But now, has anyone heard of Rabbi Abe? He talks about manifestation and new woo. That's crazy.
New woo? Is that like half of woo woo?
Yeah. Rabbi Abe. He's like he went viral with his manifestation, trying to link it into talk.
Well, Rabbi Uri, what do you think of Rabbi Singer?
I mean, he's very good at what he does in terms of being an anti-missionary guy. I wouldn't have him as my communal, synagogue rabbi.
Why not?
Because that's not what he does. He does something else.
I like what he does.
Why?
Because I learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be very knowledgeable. No?
I agree.
I'm going down an old bridge, and I like it.
I think Rabbi Uri doesn't agree.
There's a lot of different kind of rabbis out there. Not all of them are equipped to be spiritual guides to a living community. I don't think Tuba Singer's one of those guys. He's just good at what he does. But
Do you agree that he's knowledgeable?
yeah.
Okay, so there was a little hesitation there.
No, he is. He has a very special pet project. He's very good at it. If that's what you want to make your career out of, then fine by me.
He debunks Christianity, basically.
Oh. Well, maybe you can send
Michael Skoback, too. Beautiful guy.
That's not an accurate description.
Well,
He's combating missionaries. He's an anti-mission. He doesn't care if Christianity is true. He cares that Christians are telling lies about our stuff.
Have you seen him mix that on Tanakh Talk?
Well, I've seen some
I
stuff,
think
but he's not really my type of...
I think he's pretty clear about Christianity not being true.
Yeah, but his main thing is his target is not to say, hey, it's not true. His target is to say the way that you talk about our books is wrong. That's not what our
he's
books
not
say.
attempting to convince anyone that Christianity is false. He does believe Christianity is false, but he's primarily trying to make clear that Christians are not explaining the Jewish texts correctly.
That's true.
That's right.
That's true. And another thing he's very concerned about is when people try to proselytize to Jews.
Yeah, because that's evil.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
even Vatican 2.0 acknowledges that you proselytize to everyone except for the Jews, leave them alone.
Well, you know who's the worst at it? Well, not, I didn't say the worst, but you know who does this quite often is this group, Jews for Jesus.
Right, that's kind of their ethos, but they don't have to answer to the Catholic Church, so they're going to keep on proselytizing.
They grew out of Southern Baptists, I believe. They were like a breakaway of like.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's how it started.
They're not a Jewish group at all. I mean, obviously they're not Jewish.
Wait, some of them are Jews, right? Or no?
Some of them are. Yeah, some of them are. But
Jews wander in occasionally.
You're aware is he other than Tanakh talk? So that's the only place I see Tovi. It's on
YouTube.
Jews for Judaism.
Oh, he's on Jews for Judaism.
That's his website, Jews for Judaism.
But I'm excited if you know Rabbi Michael Skolback at all.
I don't.
I have such an affection for him. I think he's wonderful. Alana Nava. He does Zohar. Rabbi Alana Nava does Zohar.
Ooh, that's some dangerous stuff.
Well, then I won't watch it.
Be careful.
Be careful what's going to happen.
You don't know. Unspeakable things. Unspeakable things.
Is this a woo-woo?
The Zohar is
horrors that defy description.
Boy, I've been really barking up the wrong tree.
Well, if you read too much of the Zohar, you might become a Christian, so you gotta be.
What? Why would that happen?
I mean, because parts of Christian thought are like, when you get down to the bottom of all kinds of stuff in mysticism, in root kinds of things, and things start to rhyme with each other all over the place, across religions and cultures and geographies. So this is true for the Kabbalah.
I was just saying mysticism. Mysticism matches everything.
Right, but so the Kabbalah particularly about Trinity stuff and manifestations and Messiah stuff, about how Zohar treats some of this stuff, is Jesus thing. It rhymes.
How so?
Well, it's like a real person. It's like a sufferer.
Oh, you mean the Zohar's model for the Messiah?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like that impression exists already. Like the Christians are drawing off of at least Messiah ben Joseph or Messiah ben David, like one of those moves.
Right, so that's why until you're like properly inculcated.
But Zohar goes a different way with it. They don't come to the Christian conclusion. They could if they want.
Agreed, but if you don't have enough knowledge and they're not inculcated and initiated enough, i.e. 40 years old, a certain level of learning and married and life experience and whatever, you're going to be confused by it. Because it rhymes, because it can rhyme with all kinds of other stuff.
I
we need to make, I mean, I think that's what the people who would say it's dangerous would say.
Incarnation.
I think they find it dangerous because of the messianic cults that popped up when people were too excited about studying the Kabbalah.
That also, like, you know...
Shamtai Tzvi. I think Shamtai Tzvi, burned the swaths through Europe, and then I think Leo Frank did it right after.
Yeah, so
they had problems. I think that's why Kabbalah became illegal.
Right, but there's no difference. Those characters are Jewish false Messiah figures, just like Jesus is a Jewish false Messiah figure, right? There's a lot to be said.
But it doesn't mean you'll end up Christian. You'll end up more like Chabad.
Yeah, not to have a Christian, but
meaning there's a weird kind of a trigger different cultures have for pressing the Messiah button, and the Jews have a knack of hiding theirs, but when they start pressing it, they go crazy.
Watch out! Yeah, that's right.
They're just crazy people, scary.
We are crazy people.
No, Rabbi Uri, do you remember?
Jake, with my favorite rabbi in this picture. What's the name of that guy?
I think Mizrahi or something like that.
Oh my God, top tier.
Yeah, everyone loves that guy.
Yeah,
favorite.
I don't.
Rabbi Uri, do you remember Alan from Clubhouse?
Yeah.
So he he and I used to do some studies together,
Oh, nice.
and like I don't want to like you know the particular slant he has, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Wait, they slant on what?
Well, his particular type of study.
We're talking about Alan, the fiddle player?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm familiar with what you mean.
Oh, I thought you would know. It's a type of study that like we're not supposed to talk about.
Oh. Well, we better not talk about it then.
Well, that's why I'm avoiding talking about it. But I wanted to get some feedback from you on what you thought about it.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is.
What's
yet,
the second rule of study club?
That's right.
Exactly. No, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like I kind of made an indirect reference before.
He has an interpretation of what, of the Zohar?
Yeah, we could say that.
Uh-huh.
So the whole point is, you know, like you're supposed to have like a certain age and a certain knowledge and a certain, you know, understanding. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like elite gatekeeping, right? That's they're the elite scholars who wanted to preserve and protect secret knowledge. You don't give secret knowledge to everybody. So you make all kinds
That's
of
what Alan said, yeah.
So you make all kinds of strong boundaries around it. You don't make it like totally inaccessible, but you make the bar really hard, really high. You know.
So you think that's a good idea?
Do I think it's a good idea to restrict knowledge from people?
Well, that particular one, yeah.
I think knowledge is it spirals, meaning it builds on each other, right? So I don't think all types of knowledge are appropriate for all people at all times. There is something called there are things called developmental appropriate content.
Okay, so it's compatible with what he's talking about. Now, what do you think about the subject matter itself?
I think it's wild and wacky and crazy and cool and fun, and shouldn't be read literally.
Well, do you think there's some truth to it?
I think it's definitely one access point to a certain kind of experience in the world.
Because he took it very, very seriously.
Yeah, I don't know what take seriously means in this context, right? But I think the notions of these kinds of emanations and forces in the world that we experience, that's real, right? And we act with those capacities too, right? I think that's real. I can act with kindness or I can act with judgment. God does that too. And the world is formed out of those things as well. And that tells us stuff about ourselves and the relationship to the world. I think the cognitive linguistic framing of it, like, I like how it sounds. Is it true? I don't know. True means, yes. Is it a real expression of the human condition, human experience? Yeah. I think so.
I've met very few people on Clubhouse that are familiar with it at any depth, and the ones that sort of claim to be familiar with it are on the woo-woo side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the woo-woo side. That's why I kind of liked Alan, but even Alan was kind of out there. But he wouldn't share it with, very many people.
You don't want to overdo the woo.
Exactly, and he didn't like some of the people that, I shouldn't say the people, but he didn't like the way some of the people that I was studying with approached the subject. I mean the subject in general, not his subject. I mean the religion, so we'll put it that way. So he was very, very critical that I would study with certain other people as well.
If they don't keep the mitzvah or the halacha, it shouldn't come to a surprise where it ends,
That's a good point.
No, I studied the Kabbalah without the Torah. Might as well just be lost.
If they don't go to the yeshiva, they say it's too expensive. Then they learn the hard way.
The Kabbalah. Most of the people that understand the Kabbalah don't get it. That's part of its shtick.
If they did not keep the Torah, where do you think they're going to get the values from?
If they don't keep the Torah, they're definitely not going to understand the Kabbalah.
No, but then that's the fun thing about Kabbalists, because we can just say, hey, you don't get it.
Yeah, they don't. They don't get it.
Those who understand will understand. And everyone else, that's it. We can always just say that.
But those who understand the Torah will understand that Kabbalah is not to be understood. It's to be.
Whoa.
There is no spoon.
Oh, now we're heading back to the woo.
It's all woo.
I thought it was a spoon.
That's how I feel about physics sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Embrace the mystery. It's all woo.
There's definitely, I don't know if it's all woo, but there's definitely a lot of mystery involved.
But spooky action at a distance? Come on.
Not just that, but like all the deeper math, the deeper physics, it seems like woo, but on the other hand, when you look into the mathematics, it's supported.
Well, math is woo. Right? Math doesn't have to conform to reality. It's just an abstract game that makes sense within its own terms.
Yeah, but it's weird in the way that it does correspond with reality.
Oh, I grant you. The fact that math works is woo. But math itself, pure woo.
Yeah.
I love it.
But it does seem to give us insights into reality. But it gives
yes, that's the weird woo of it all.
Yeah.
Well, it's. I mean, if we take it to let's get really woo, right? Because the world is just avatars. There is actually a reality that's underneath the avatars. There's the hardware. We're just interacting with icons. But what's the real essence of the icons? It's the mathematical truth.
This is the part that's problematic for me.
It's the programming. It's the code. We don't interact with the code. We interact with the product of the code.
That's right.
Meaning, like, if you imagine yourself a tiny little Mario avatar jumping on a little frog avatar, the reality of what's being around you is code. A bunch of numbers of zeros and ones all expressed. But you exist within that world as a tiny little plumber jumping on a turtle.
Right, but isn't that sort of problematic in some ways?
Problematic in what way? How? For who? In what way?
For us when we think about that. The implications of all that.
What's problematic about it?
Well, what is the nature of it that creates it such that it is these ones and zeros, as you call it?
I mean, it seems like basically the same philosophy that gets you to scientific reasoning of saying, like, okay, so there are parameters, I can jump on this, I'm limited in that way. And then if you understood the code at the core level, what was going on behind, you know why there was a pipe over there, how it could be changed, and what the basic parameters are. Like, you're asking why, the answer is because of the rule system that is invisible to the plumber, unless he figures it out.
The fish doesn't know it's in water.
Unless he figures it out.
Right. At which point he probably stops being a fish.
Yeah, he'd be like some new generation, a fish sapiens.
He'd be like a god.
No, he'd just be
knowing the difference of good and evil.
He'd be better than all the fish. How about that?
Better than all the fish, there. But I hear what you're saying, right? But I think there's a block. We can be observers of reality, or we can be experiencers of reality, but we can't do both at the same time.
What are you talking about? We do both at the same time all the time.
No, I do them in sequence. I don't do it simultaneously. You're
saying the observation of reality is removed from the experience of reality?
Is a separate thing from the experience of reality, yes.
Wouldn't you say that observing reality is one of the experiences of reality?
Yes.
So then I can observe reality while experiencing reality. I always do, whenever I observe it.
Okay, so I'll amend.
Okay.
Well, I'm responding to something that Euro said about well, let me ask Euro then. What is it that you don't like about the idea that there's like a code, but we're not interacting with the code, we're just the plumber? Like because it's not actually in reality, right? Because there's another reality. You want to be in that one, not the fake one or whatever.
Well, there seems to be another layer of reality, if you want to call it that. And the rules in that, which governs the reality that we interact with, are very, very different. And
yes.
So can this be solved? Can this be solved by kind of like Newtonian physics works up to a point and then it doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. And then GR works up to a point and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then the standard model of quantum physics works to a certain point and then it doesn't. And now we're making some inroads in LQC and other areas which are converging on a new consensus that has even more startling implications. So that's where I'm starting to go with this.
What?
I said that's where I'm starting to go with this.
I didn't get where you're trying to go with it.
In other words, there's some new mathematics now with LQC and with string theory and some other theories that are all seem to converge on the same answer.
Which is?
Well, it's a little complicated, but basically it eliminates the whole singularity of the Big Bang and the singularity of the black holes, and it suggests basically that there are we could call them sort of like these portholes to other universes and whatnot.
Meaning what? I don't get what that...
Meaning that what we observe as the universe is just a small portion of a small part of a set of other universes, if you will.
Oh, you're saying they have proof for multiverse?
Well, there seems to be a converging consensus.
It wouldn't even be a It wouldn't even be a multiverse. It would just be aspects of the revealed parts of the things you can access. But it's still one unified thing, right? I think that, and that's the
the thing is, they're not causally connected.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But they're part of this. But they're part of a singular. Yeah, but they're part of a singular entity, but they're not causally connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. And then the question is, like, we're thinking now that we're probably the product of this process. And so then the question of maybe this extends backwards in time, and how far backwards, like maybe potentially infinitely, or at least, multiple time scales. So with GR actually had a limit on how far it could go back. But once we eliminate GR in this new model, there's not necessarily a limit.
Has that led to some kind of an insight?
Yeah, well, it just means that
sounds more like a claim.
Well, it's
like a theory that says, hey, if we think this, then that means we can also think about this other thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of it's just more
right,
of
it's like an inference of an inference.
It's more of a mathematical possibility that opens up once we
exactly opens up other possibilities. Might lead to more full investigations.
Yeah. I don't know. I just find it a little bit troubling when I think about it. But
you find it troubling? How? I don't get that.
Changes the whole conception of what the universe is.
Well, you should take all of that with the grain of salt, because it's conjecture, right? No one says hey, I'm an eyewitness to the Big Bang and all of time that happened up until yesterday.
Yeah. In a certain sense, it's conjecture, but when you have different mathematical models that all point to the same thing, then the likelihood of it being true is substantially higher. You know, I mean, it's the same way.
Yeah, but it's still never going to be perfect. It's always just going to be best bet.
Yeah.
Best bet's good. I'd take the best bet, but it's still a bet.
Yeah, I hear you. So, Mixon, you weren't here for the earlier discussion on Adam and Eve and the nature of one.
What does the nature of one have to do with Adam and Eve?
Rabbi, you want to explain
We
that?
actually got into it. We got into it from another place. Smiler was going to try to tell me that the Trinity, that like Shema Yisrael could point to the Trinity.
Oh, that's that one that Maimonides makes fun of, right?
So does he?
Yeah, he says, go look at these silly goyim. They'll look at Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. They'll read the sentence, understand the sentence, count the number of times the word God shows up, and then forget the meaning of the sentence.
That's what Rabbi said.
That was a Maimonides zinger circa 1,000 years ago.
Rabbi, didn't you say that was what
your boy Smiler just got served from the grave?
That's hysterical.
No, but like that's exactly what you would do if you were trying to get the Trinity out of that verse. The simplest way is it says God's three names. It says God three times. That's the simplest thing. But exactly. So Smiler was trying another way with me. I said, so he's like, what does echad mean? And I was like, well, echad could mean singular, unified, unique, special, all these kinds of
I heard an etymology guy saying that it wasn't the original word for one.
What was the original word for one?
Hebrew had a different word for one, atzum or something, and it's like a relic in some places. Like there's one where it's like counting 11, and it says like atzum eser, right? And that's like the original version for
that
one.
makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Let me finish. Echad comes in, borrowed term. It comes in as a concept meaning lonely, excluding all others, and then it subverts and takes over the meaning.
Very nice. Very nice.
Which, by the way, that's pretty nice for them saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, right? Yeah. Then it explains their dogmatic commitment and the whole like jealous God, I'm only one, right? It fits better as to what Echad really means.
Yeah. It's also, so Smile was trying to tell me, he said, so Echad could mean unique. Oh, unique. Interesting. It says, so the Trinity, that's pretty unique, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's three. What a unique three you have there.
Oh, no, I think he was trying to use the word unique for word. But what about the three Yugarat gods that are in Genesis? 1, and 1, 2, and 1, 3.
Which one? Is that
Tiamat,
Tohu, Tiamat?
Yeah. Why can't we say that?
I don't know. Go ahead, say that. Go worship your Canaanite deity. Just keep it out of Israel.
But isn't there three gods in that creating?
No.
Well, I mean,
also there's more than three. You added them all up.
How many then?
There's a bunch in that first chapter.
But what about
you're interpreting them as deities? The rabbis don't interpret them as deities. They give them words and meanings. Yam, I think, is a deity according to some, right?
I think Yam is. Tehom is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, like, jump at every word that someone has used as a god. It's like, oh, look, they said Wednesday. They're worshiping Odin, right? You know? You gotta chill out, dude.
No, I'm just saying it's better than saying God.
Not every word is an ancient god.
No, that's not. I'm not saying that.
You are a little.
A little.
Yeah, and you gotta try to knock that off because someone's gotta use a word eventually.
I know. I'm wondering, like, if I should go to church now, because it's going to take me forever to get home.
You didn't get your ashes yet, Barth?
No, I start at 6. My boss is not going to let me leave. And I'm working 10 hours, so it's either...
Oh my gosh, Barth.
So I want to either go... No, I got to go now, or...
Gotta get those ashes.
Well, that's the thing, right? The traffic right now is ridiculous. So...
So you get
I'm gonna call my wife. Give me a second. I'm gonna call my wife. Be right.
It's a good plan.
So if he comes home with no ashes on his forehead.
I mean, you could just like stop at a place and get some ashes. It's not like hard to get ashes.
Like, do you have to? Yeah, does it have to be like?
Well, they say it comes from the palm trees. They say like they got the palm from last year and they burned them all.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and there's probably like a special service. He's the guy that puts the ashes on the head. But yeah, if you want to like fake it, just like, grab a newspaper. Who's gonna know?
Hey, you just have to go to church today. Today's Wednesday.
Yeah, you're
Ash Wednesday.
Which Wednesday do you think it is?
I don't know. Which Wednesday is it?
It's Ash Wednesday, Euro.
Okay.
Have you not seen people walking around town with ash on their forehead?
He's in France. They're very proudly not Christian.
Yeah, that's true. So you have people walking around with ashes on their heads?
Oh yeah, back when I was in the city on this day of the year, it would always be just like some guy.
She said, get your ass home and just go around the street.
Now.
That's right. No ashes for you, Barth.
No, she said, go when I get home. She's like, everyone's probably doing that. It's going to take you forever to get home.
It's going to take forever, Barth. Stuck in traffic.
Like, you don't want to start Lent without the right... You don't want to start it incorrectly. You really want to get in the mood.
Well, the whole thing is like... I thought it would be better to wait for the traffic. She says it's going to get worse. Which is true. Probably will get worse. I mean, my weather. Yeah, it's the weather. So
there, right?
My phone tells me, like, I'm so regimented that it sends me messages. It knows that I'm going home. Like, once you put this watch on, the Apple Watch, it knows everything. It knows everything. Yeah. Yeah, the watch is crazy. It knows when I'm eating. It knows when I'm sitting down.
It knows when you are sleeping.
Having your little robotic.
No, I don't leave it on while I'm sleeping. But a lot of females have that ring. It's like a ring that they put on, and it tells them menstruation, all this other stuff. I don't think they have one for guys, but the closest thing I guess is
to get an alarm for your menstruation.
Yeah, it knows when you're sleeping. It knows when you're awake. It knows when you've been naughty.
So you're saying it's like marketed to Christians?
It knows when you've been nice.
That ring for the women is really, really popular. My wife and I went through 2 of them. She loves it.
She loves it. Yeah.
And I think you can actually scroll with it on too. I think that's another.
With love like that, it can't be bad.
Yeah.
What? Glad you agree with me.
I'm about to get on the train, guys.
Good luck with that.
Well, I won't be able to talk, so
Good luck with that.
I'll be back. Yeah, I know.
Alex.
But anyways, sorry guys, I'm watching football. I can't concentrate pretty much. When it comes to, the creation of Adam, woman, like man and woman created them. I mean, it says like, first of all, Adam was alone, so it means he was one. But as well, I mean, what about the consciousness? When he mentions that there was woman and man in Adam, okay? What about the consciousness? What the self-awareness of the female? Where it was, if God already said that it was in Adam. And even, let's say, what he said like about Shema Israel, it doesn't say Shem Echad, it says Adonai. Adonai says, like it's specific word, First of all, it means many, plural Adonai. Yes, Jews like, agree it's majestic, but this is something, that says God, okay? God calls himself Adonai. And it uses the word Elohim, which is as well your Elohim, plural, your Adonai, plural, your God is one.
It's a good one for you, Euro. Let's take a look at this one. Take a look at that 1 Euro. That one's pretty decent.
Where'd everybody go?
I'm here. I'm watching football, but as well.
There's a football match tonight?
Yeah, it's
Paris? No, Paris played the other night.
No. I'm watching the Las Brujas and Atletico Madrid. Bruges.
Oh, okay.
3-2 Atletico Madrid wins.
Oh, very nice. Megatron, you a footy fan too?
I think he's busy. He's on the way.
I have a game next Wednesday.
Who's playing?
Did you get
Uniform your country, this middle.
That's
just
God.
for human rights.
I'm doing a favor to you. I'm educating you. You are not listening.
Okay.
Put to all your confusion.
Thank you, Borat. You can go back to Mossad Training Academy now with your fake accent. Very nice. I like this. Very nice. Thank you.
Oh my God, bro. But hold on a second. So, this is the thing with some of the people from Iran, right? I think they can't get the question, or some of them are very honest. Some of them, I don't know, they get into emotions. The question is very clear. The sanctions, it's on the Iranian people. It affects the Iranian people. It doesn't affect the IRGC. IRGC can, thrive and survive.
IRGC has Bitcoin.
Also,
They don't care.
IRGC is heavier than sanctions.
That's what I'm saying, Shahrazad. The sanctions are affecting the people. You have to get the sanctions lifted for the people to survive for the inflation to stop and all of this other shit.
Even if they lift the sanctions, the force, this heaviness will stay. This heaviness will stay. We will be under that. There is so many people that will feed off of that when that money comes to the people, if that money comes to the people, it will take years and years.
People, oh my God, I don't know what to tell you guys. Anybody else want to chime in? Muhammad, do you want to chime in, brother? Or Hassan, I think he just came. Hassan, would you like to chime in?
Yeah, hello everybody.
I hope you understood my question, right, Hassan?
I do. I'm struggling by, Farhad doesn't understand the question. The thing is, sanctions are killing the ordinary Iranian people. It's directly impacting them. But at the same time, it's a blessing to the IRGC and the regime itself, you see, because they use the sanctions to go around and making deals that buy something at, say, X and sell it internally in Iran as 4X essentially. So they're making huge amount of profit and money out of the sanctions. In fact, I believe a great section of the Iranian regime wants the sanctions to stay. It is a blessing to them, for them, and they've become very rich, exceptionally rich out of the sanction regime. But unfortunately, at the same time, it's killing the ordinary Iranian people, you see. So the number one priority for any progressive government that would succeed the current government should be to do whatever it takes without losing the country to lift the sanctions, essentially. That's the only thing that they need to focus on. That's what I'm...
Can I add here?
Sure, go on, Max.
I'm surprised this is even a discussion. There's one European Parliament member. I put a link in the chat. It's just 1 minute, right? Watch his video. No one can summarize it better than him. There's several studies. Is benefits people in